Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hit the Deck. Today we have Mr. Vagram actually joining us.
Woo!
Although he has been afflicted by the lurgy, so he may sound slightly off and forget that he has push to talk turned on.
Yes.
So we may have to remind him a little bit. But we're here today to discuss some Ravnica Allegiance spoilers, have a look at the mechanics, and generally share our thoughts and feelings. Isn't that right, Mr. Vagram?
Woo! Yes, that is right. Yes.
Vagram has been replaced with a train.
Woo woo.
So
My dad used to have one of those wooden things that had the notches cut in it, where you could blow in it and it would sound like a train whistle. Yeah, I used to have one of those. I don't know what happened to it though.
I actually have like part of a train set somewhere. Apparently, I've had it for like years, like since I was really young, and I only found it again when I moved out of my mum's, and she's like, "By the way, this is yours," and hands me this box. I'm like, "What's this?" And yeah, literally
I don't remember this.
opened it up, and there's just like half a train set with I think Thomas the Tank Engine and either the green one or the red one. I can't remember the name of them, but it was like a Thomas the Tank Engine, like but proper gauged tracks, but it was like Thomas the Tank Engine trains.
Huh. Weird.
So yeah,
But neat, but also potentially creepy.
yeah.
I had a train set that I brought over to when I was about 12 or 13. I met this kid named Trey, and he is one of the people that kind of introduced me into the big kind of fascination with Godzilla movies. And he wanted to be a filmmaker. So what he would do is he would get train sets that people didn't want anymore. I had one I didn't want anymore. He'd get train sets and he would set them up with the little towns and stuff like this and get Godzilla action figures and gasoline and fireworks. I kid you not. And he would stage his own Godzilla movies in his backyard. Kid was insane.
That's awesome. I approve
Yeah.
of this thoroughly.
Anyway, I have not seen any of the spoiler cards. I glanced at the website and I've seen like a lot of multicolor cards, but I did not actually analyze any of them. So I don't really know what's going on. I don't know what to expect.
Okay, shall we jump into it?
Yes, both feet.
Okay, cool. So this is the official Wizards Ravnica Allegiance card image gallery. So this gets updated as they reveal cards officially.
Cool.
There are a number of cards that have been spoiled that are not on this list. However, they're in fucking rushing, and I don't really want to have to look at 4 different websites just to figure out what the cards say.
Yeah, I can't be bothered to deal with Cyrillic or anything weird like that. Sorry.
We're going to stick with the official cards that have been revealed. The other ones are from the Planeswalker decks. So they show the two of the 3 new Planeswalkers that we think we're getting in Ravnica Allegiance, Dovin and Domri Raid.
Right.
Dovin is red blue and Domri is red green, so that's... No, he's not. Domri's red green, Dovin's blue white, so Azorius and Gruul specifically.
Ooh.
So we have had all of the mechanics for the new guilds have had their own little videos. We've seen what they do, so there shouldn't be major surprises in amongst what's been spoiled, since I think most of them were on those videos. So people that have seen those videos have probably seen all of these cards, but I think it's interesting to go through and kind of talk about them and sort of see what we think.
I know that the group, the content creator group, Loading Ready Run, they're Canadian, and they, I know they do a lot of special events in cooperation with and partnership with Wizards of the Coast, like pre-release live streams and stuff like this, and they quite often will get spoiler cards ahead of time, and show them on stream and talk about them a little bit. But quite often they're just talking about the card. They don't talk about the other ones that have already been released and how they could potentially be used together.
Yeah, I know that Merchant and Alias V both have spoiler cards that they've received. I think Alias is on the 7th of January and Merchants is on the 9th. because they get given obviously specific dates that they're allowed to talk about and share the cards. So.
Yeah. I'm reading some of the ones that are up on screen right now. I'm squinting.
Hooray! 30 bits from the Spadoinkle.
Spadoinkle, one of the most cheerful names in streaming. Spadoinkle.
Spadoinkle's special. She's very nice. We do love her. She's also my cousin, just in case anyone thinks that's creepy.
Is that cheating? Or?
I don't know, is it?
Nah.
I don't think it's cheating.
Nah. Hi, Spadoinkle.
So, on screen, we have the only mono white card and the only mono black card that have been revealed as yet.
Okay.
So, the white one is this Tithe Taker. Can I click on it? Yeah, that's... we'll deal with that. It will give focus to the card that we're talking about, I guess.
It's a rare?
It is a rare, yeah.
Okay.
So, it's a 2/1 for 2.
Not horrible.
Which is okay. It's decent in the current meta. There's a lot of like 2/1s and 1/2s for 2, so this kind of fits in. It's a human soldier, which might be potential.
Wait a minute. We have to back up a second. Spadoinkle says, "I think that's the only compliment you've ever paid me."
She's clearly lying.
That's harsh. Oh my God.
I'm nice to everyone, obviously, all the time.
Always. Anyway, back to the subject at hand.
Yeah. So, during your turn, spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast, and abilities your opponents activate cost 1 more to activate unless they're mana abilities. I think this effect is going to be really, 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 really strong, because it basically means that control decks have to pay more to be able to counter your shit.
Yeah.
Which I am 100% in favour of, because I hate control decks. Well, no, I step that back. I don't hate control decks. I hate denial control decks. Decks that don't let you actually play anything. Those are frustrating.
Okay, so I'm rereading the text on this. Well, first of all, it's got something called Afterlife 1.
It does. That is the Orzhov guild mechanic for Ravnica Allegiance.
Interesting. So if it dies, it generates a 1/1 token that it leaves behind.
Yes.
Okay,
and
interesting.
The number after Afterlife is the number of those tokens that you'll get. There'll always be 1/1 white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. But based on the Afterlife number, you will get, 1, 2, 4, 54 bazillion.
So it could say Afterlife 3. You would get 3 of those tokens.
Yes.
Wow, that's nice. Okay. But okay, so this ability says specifically spells your opponent would cast cost 1 more.
Yep.
Now, spells is pretty much everything.
Everything that's not a land is a spell.
Right, so everything not land. And then it says any abilities, so that's creature activated abilities on artifacts, everything except a mana generating land ability.
Yeah, anything that says, well, it's not just land abilities, but basically anything that is tapped to add a mana to your mana pool is a mana ability. So anything that's not tapped to add a mana is a non-mana ability. So, like, if you take Chromatic Lantern, which taps to add a mana of any colour to your mana pool, that's still a mana ability, even though it's on an artifact and not on land. This is the bit where we remind Vagram he's on push to talk.
All right. This does beg the question to me. So this would stack if you had 2 of these.
Yes.
Okay, it's not expensive.
No.
It's got, it's a 1 white and 1 colorless. It's 2/1, relatively early game creature that could bust a curve that your opponent was playing on very quickly if you have more than one of them on the field.
If you get this, if you go first and you get one of these down turn 2, that is effectively going to delay a control deck by a turn.
Yeah, that's painful. That's real painful.
You know, their 3 mana Sinister Sabotage becomes a 4 mana Sinister Sabotage, which means that they're back a turn, and you potentially get to
Yeah.
drop that critical 3 or 4 drop without interference.
So you could have 4 of these in your deck,
Yeah,
and you could see 1 or 2 of them at the same time early on.
perfectly
Easily.
possible. Yeah,
Huh.
I can see a lot of the current like white weenie and white red weenies. I can see a lot of them just putting 4 of those in the sideboard.
So I'm curious to see what name people are going to come up with for decks like this, or decks that use and center on this ability, where it's less about like you're not milling your opponent, or you're not generating a whole ton of creatures early on, like weenie decks or aggro decks or whatever. The entire point of the deck is to bust the mana curve that your opponent is working on.
So that archetype's actually already got a name.
Really, what is it?
It's called Stacks, but it encompasses
Stacks.
a lot more than just disrupting the mana curve. It also covers
Right.
things like not letting your opponent untap more than like 1 or 2 things a turn, or making them sacrifice a lot of things. Basically, anything that will slow play down to a crawl kind of falls into that Stacks archetype.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
I'll send you an article on Stacks after this live stream, because I found a really good primer on it. When I was,
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting mechanic.
Because I was looking to build a
'Cause-
commander deck, and I was like, yeah, let's read up on all these things.
You're not really directly saying, like, it's not a counterspell deck. It's not like a lightning deck or whatever, where, you know, standard red aggro deck where somebody puts something out on the field and you just kill it instantly with a lightning strike or whatever. You're not milling them. You're not taking their things away. You're just changing the economy, the mana economy they're working with,
Yeah.
which I think is a real interesting idea. I don't see that much personally.
A lot of those effects are present in older types of
Sets.
formats. There's like,
Okay.
I mean, we've seen Dampening Sphere.
Yes. Yeah, we faced that actually
Yeah.
in a matchup. I can't remember if that was a draft matchup or if that was just a bad matchup.
No, I'm pretty sure it was a draft. I'm
Yeah,
fairly confident it was a draft.
That was a messy match. Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, there's been a lot of those types of effects all throughout the life of Magic.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So that's Tithe Taker.
That is Tithe Taker, which I think we will see a lot of Tithe Taker in the.
I could see that. It's a good monocolor card, even though it does leave a white-black token behind afterwards. It's still a really good, interesting effect.
Yeah.
I could see that being in a lot of decks.
I can see that in being quite a lot of decks that include white and don't want to be countered a lot.
I mean, honestly, it's cheap enough. You could sideboard some of those in to slow down, like a ramp deck or an aggro deck.
Yeah, it's perfectly possible.
Yeah.
I think we'll see Tithe Takers and to Catley Honor Guards being very prevalent.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
So
the
Mono
Haunt
Black.
of Hightower?
The Haunt of Hightower, yeah. So apparently this is the buy a box promo card. So basically, if you buy a box of Ravnica Allegiance, you get one of these for free. In Magic the Gathering Arena, it is reflected in the, I think it's a 45 and then 90 card, the 90 booster pack sets, because they're effectively a box and 2 boxes.
So is this a rare or a mythic?
This is a mythic, I think.
Mythic.
By the looks of it, yeah.
Legendary creature vampire. Okay.
Yeah, I think that the legendary thing is potentially going to kill this card. Had it not been legendary, I could have seen this in quite a lot of decks, but with it being legendary, maybe not so much. It is a 6 mana 3/3 as well, which
It's an expensive legendary. Okay, so remind me the rules on legendary creatures. You can only have one of them out on the battlefield at a time, right?
You can only have a single copy of a legendary card out on the battlefield. If you play another one with the same English name, you have to pick one to keep and sacrifice the other one. So you could theoretically still play 2, but you would then immediately have to sacrifice one of them.
Okay.
I mean, there are some cases where you might want to play a second one and then immediately sacrifice it if you had if it has a...
Or you get one out and it gets luminous bonds or something like that, and your simplest solution is to just cast a new one, sacrifice the old one.
Yeah, effectively.
Weird. Okay, weird.
There's situations where it may be viable, but in general, you kind of want to make the opponent kill it rather than kill it yourself.
Yeah.
So this has flying and lifelink, which is nice. It's evasive, it gives you back life, which is cool. Whenever it attacks, the defending player will discard a card. And whenever a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Okay, so whenever a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere. So if it attacks and causes them to discard, it gets a +1/+1.
Yep. So it's going to get +1/+1 counter every turn that you attack with it. However, if you kill an opponent's creature, that's still a card going at the graveyard. If you mill the opponent, that's cards going at the graveyard. So,
right.
I mean, it could maybe be like a finisher for a mill deck that's maybe run out of steam, but I don't know. It seems weird.
It's kind of like oh gosh, the like the Dimir Surveil decks in the current format. For you have Surveil as the mechanic to kind of help you filter through the top several cards of your deck and get things in certain order, but you're also pumping certain creatures that have +1 gain +1/+1 on upon Surveil or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like that, but it's for a discard deck instead. Like you're milling somebody, and you're only gonna. I think the big downside is that, like you said, the legendary status kind of kills it. You can only have one on the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean,
which is just going to make it a massive magnet.
If you put 2 or 3 of them on the battlefield and you were like discarding 2 or 3 cards a turn, that could be fairly nasty.
I'm trying to remember. What was it? It's not Doppelganger. I think that's the old card.
Quasi-duplicate?
Quasi-duplicate or polymorph or something like that. I can't remember. Where you would duplicate a card, but if it was a legendary, it would not retain the legendary status.
The only effect that is in standard just now that would do that is Helm of the Host.
Right. Okay, so Helm of the Host. That's a good example. You could get this out and then get Helm of the Host on it. And every time, if you had 2 of them, right? Each one attacks, then both of them would get +2/+2.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Okay, so that would just get worse and worse with Helm of the Host. I think it's weird that you have to loophole around it because they made it a legendary, but maybe it's good that they did. Otherwise, this would be kind of common in every single discard.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, we can see it probably has a place in... I could definitely see it being in Commander. Maybe some sort of jank deck will build around it.
Right. Hey, Preacher.
Hey, Preach, how you doing, buddy?
I think it's got interesting possibilities to it, but I think it's anchored down by 2 things. Like you said, 1, the legendary status. That works against it automatically. And at least for me, number 2, it is 6 mana, and it's only a 3/3. Now, it's a 3/3 flying and lifelink, but still, it is a 3/3 that automatically puts it right at that lightning strike bar. So it could just get popped off the table with a lot of stuff early to mid-game.
Yeah, I mean, Lava Coil is a 2-mana spell that answers it and exiles it, so we can't get it back.
So, I mean, it does not have haste. So if you get it out onto the field, it is going to become a target very, very quickly.
Yeah.
You're going to have to attack with it or buff it at least once so that it doesn't die to all that 3 or less removal, and you can start using it. Now, the fact that it's flying with lifelink is just pure evil. That is nice. Because every single time you get a successful hit off with it, you're getting health back. But I think there's a lot of negatives that are working against it.
Yeah, when this was first spoiled, because this was one of the cards that was revealed really early on, a lot of people were saying that this will never see play specifically because it is a 3/3 for 6 mana.
Well, okay. Preacher says favorable winds would help with that. What card is favorable winds?
It's 2 or 3 casting cost blue enchantment that gives creatures with flying +1/+1.
Okay. So that would help. And if this was if that is a blue enchantment, that automatically synergizes with discard mill decks.
Yeah.
So that's true. You could do a blue-black mill. But, I mean, like, if you put this down on the battlefield, green has, plummet.
Yep.
I mean, red has God knows how much. Like you pointed out, what is it, Lava Coil?
Yeah, Lava Coil.
Lightning Strike.
Any number of shocks.
Yes.
Fight with fire, fire intervention, fiery finish, Banefire.
If you're facing blue and it gets any number of tokens, it just gets bounced back to the owner's hand and all those tokens get lost.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of ways to fight it, but I see potential in it, but I see a lot working against it.
Yeah, I like the concept of it. I think the artwork's really cool, but I just don't know if it'll see play.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
We shall.
I think that favorable wins has potential though, Preach. I think you're right.
Yeah, favorable wins is interesting.
Okay, red.
Red, indeed. So light up the stage is a Rakdos card.
First of all, great name.
Yeah, I know, right?
I like the name. That brings up imagery already.
So, like, the Cult of Rakdos are basically like an insane carnival.
Really?
Yeah, it's like seriously. Oh. Like this guy, the Rixmadi Reveler, he's also Rakdos. He's basically a carnival clown juggling freaking flaming skulls.
Skulls? That's pretty dope. Okay,
Rakdos
I like that.
Are amazing.
Remind me what color combination is Rakdos?
Red black.
Right, that's a great combo.
Yeah,
really great combo.
It's nice.
So light up the stage, 1 red and 2 colorless, and it is an uncommon.
Yes,
I'm getting slightly better at figuring those out because I can't see the metallic color. I have to go by shade. Okay. Spectacle. Please explain Spectacle to me.
Spectacle is the Rakdos guild mechanic, and basically, if an opponent has lost life this turn, you can cast a card with Spectacle for its Spectacle cost instead of its normal cost.
Wow.
It does not change the speed at which you can cast the card, though. So sorcery still has to be cast at sorcery speed. Creatures still have to cast it at sorcery speed as well, because technically, you only really.
So
have
no
2
other
speeds.
rules about the card change, just the casting cost.
And anything in the body of the card that says if this card was cast for its Spectacle cost, then do this in addition instead of its base effect.
So Spectacle for 1 red mana, and then it says exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards.
Yep.
That's interesting.
It's sort of like a draw spell, but not at the same time.
Yeah. It's a time limited draw spell.
Yeah.
You have a deadline that you have to use those cards by.
Yeah, and you still have to pay normal mana cost for them as well. It doesn't say that you can play them without the mana cost.
That is interesting, but it's also kind of risky, which is classic red. Oh, wait a minute. Say that again. You said that until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. You're saying that you don't have to do the mana cost on them?
No, you still have to pay the mana cost on them. Because the card doesn't specify that you don't.
So, yeah, okay. That's the thing I was thinking about is if I exile those, what if I get one of the expensive cards in my deck that I'm not quite ready to play with?
Yeah, then it stays exiled and you lose it.
Yeah, so that's
risky.
It's
super risky.
Derek purchases my red-black pirate deck Plunder. I updated with a few cards, and that thing got meaner. I'm thinking about adding a few more removal spells to that deck and making it absolutely evil. Cool, red-black pirate deck.
Red-black pirates with lots of removal.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
I had a evil, and nobody should ever play it.
Exactly.
I had a thought on our Chaos and Mayhem upgraded deck. But we can go over it later towards the end of the stream. I have a notion on like a variant on that. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
So light up the stage. That looks like it could be interesting, but again, I'm seeing some potential backfire points on that.
Yes, I think that's one of the things that like Rakdos has always done, is it can do really powerful things, but there's always that little chance that it'll backfire and really badly.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Light up the stage.
Also, the artwork on this is cool.
Yeah, I do like the artwork. Okay, so Rixmati Reveler is the next one.
Yes. Again, artwork is phenomenal. Like this little like clown dude juggling flaming horned skulls with nails stuck into them. Yeah.
Okay, so this one is normally a red and a colorless, but then it has a spectacle cost of 1 red, 1 black, and 2 colorless.
Hey Nessa, thanks very much for stopping by and dropping us a follow. I hope you have a great day at work.
Yes.
So, for anyone that doesn't know Nessa is another Magic the Gathering Arena streamer. She streams like really early morning for me, so probably like late night for y'all over in the States. Super nice, super amazing, and you should all check her out if you can.
Sweet. Hi, Nessa.
Hey, Mr. Roo, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Mr. Roo? Okay, I'm reading all this wall of text. I'm noticing a pattern. Yeah. There's lots of text in these cards.
Yes. A lot of it will be hidden on Arena, though, because like you won't get this reminder text about what Spectacle is, and it'll pop up on the side.
It'll pop out on the side, yeah. When Rixmati Reveler enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw a card. Yeah. If Rixmati Reveler's Spectacle cost was played, instead discard your hand and draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. So it's a 2/2 for 2.
Yes.
Normally.
Well, it's a 2/2 for 2 all of it. Well, no, it's a 2/2 all the time for 2 normally, yeah.
Yeah, for 2 normally. And when you pay the normal cost, it enters the battlefield, you discard a card, then draw a card.
Yes.
But if you pay the Spectacle cost,
you discard your entire hand and draw 3 cards.
And draw 3. That's weird. I mean, I guess it's one of those things where you're going to save that until you have only 1 or 2 cards in your hand.
Yeah.
Not a full hand of 7.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That does mean that if you get down to that being the last card, last 1 or 2 cards, then you play it. You discard the 1 or 2 that you have left, maybe the 1 card you have left, and draw 3. That's a pretty good deal. And it's a 2/2.
Yeah, it's a 2/2. So it's a decent body, but again, it just sort of exemplifies that Rakdos, all the risk for all the reward.
Right. It could backfire on you if you don't use it.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. Okay, cool.
But yeah, if you use it properly, then obviously you're getting 3 cards effectively for free on turn 4. So it could be good. I think we'll see a lot of it.
Rixmati Revel. Ooh. Okay. So now I think those are all what? Those are all the
monocolored cards. Yeah, there's only been 1 white, 1 black, and 2 red. Yeah. So we're on to multicolored, and as you can see, there are quite a number of these.
Yeah, I'm noticing that.
So Aeromunculus, which I think is an awesome name.
That is it. It sounds. I mean, directly transliterating that in my head, it sounds like a flying homunculus, which I think it probably is.
It is a flying homunculus, yeah.
Homunculus. Hey, what do you know? Okay. Straightforward. It does sound like something that is going to be potentially slightly slimy and slightly mean. That's the image I get in my head.
Basically, you're not far wrong. This is the first Simic card that we've seen so far. There are other Simic cards, but it's the first one we've got to. Hi, Ferg.
Ferg. What's going on, Ferg? Okay. Homunculus mutant creature.
Yes.
1 blue, 1 green, 1 colorless. And it's got flying, and it's a 2/3.
2/3, yeah, which is awesome.
I like it. I mean, it's a 2/3 for 3 that flies. That's pretty good right there, right?
Yeah, that's pretty spectacular for a 3-mana
But
cost first.
then it's got adapt. You're gonna have to explain this one to me.
So adapt, basically, you pay the adapt cost, and then you put a number of +1/+1 counters on it if it does not have any +1/+1 counters on it, equal to the
Right.
number after adapt.
Okay.
So this has
So-
adapt 1, so you would put a single +1/+1 counter on it if it doesn't have +1/+1 counters already on it.
Just finished watching What We Do in the Shadows. Seems like your type of movie, Vagram.
What we do in the
I keep seeing it and I keep meaning to watch it. Yes.
I don't think I've even heard of that.
It's one of those titles, like the cover art for it keeps popping up in Netflix, and it looks like a low budget vampire movie, which does not do it for me. But I think what it actually is a lot deeper than that and a lot more interesting than that. It's just not very well
It's
advertised.
a high budget political intrigue movie that's portrayed as a low budget vampire movie.
I don't know if it's that complicated, but we'll see. I need to sit down and watch it at some point in the next couple of weeks.
I was thinking of Daybreakers.
Yeah. Okay, so this Aeromunculus has an ability that is like a limited pump ability. It's not just put this mana into it and keep putting +1/+1 counters on it.
Yeah.
You can only do this once if it has no counters.
You can only do it, well, you can pay it multiple times, but it won't do anything if it already has counters on it.
Right. It would just be you'd just be dumping mana basically.
Yes. However, a lot of people took to Mark Rosenberg's blog after Adapt was announced. Mark Rosenberg is the lead designer of Magic at the moment.
Yes.
And his blog, he basically answers questions that people put to him over the course of the week, and he'll answer like 10, 15 questions a day. It's really interesting to get that sort of insight into how Magic's designed. So after... Hey, Ranter. After this adaptability was first announced, a lot of people took to his blog saying, yo dude, what the fuck, why is Simic just +1/+1 counters again?
Yeah.
Because they've basically been +1/+1 counters for like every Ravnica set since Ravnica first came out.
Right.
So he has effectively said that yes, it is +1/+1 counters. However, Simic will be able to spend them to do things and stuff.
Oh, so there's going to be other cards where you can take those tokens and spin them to do some function or get some effect, and then redo the adapt later on.
Yeah, we just haven't seen what those.
Okay, so
What
we're
those
only
things-
seeing part of the picture. Is
Yeah,
what he's saying. We're only
at
seeing
this
part
point
of
in time, we're only seeing the ability itself, not what all of the cards can do with that ability.
Right. Okay. Excuse me. I am intrigued. I am definitely intrigued because I could see that as being very interesting. You can only have. It's like you're limited to only having one of these tokens, spendable tokens, on certain creatures. So the creatures might have Adapt 2 or Adapt 3, but this one has Adapt 1. So if I have a couple of Aeromunculus out, I can have one token waiting to be spent, and I have like some sorcery where I can pull off those tokens and do some effect or something, or an instant or whatever. Or maybe I have an enchant card that gives a buff or a specific kind of a helpful effect to all creatures that have at least one of these adapt tokens on them.
Yeah, I can see that being a thing.
Yeah, so that could be interesting. I could see a lot of dovetailing and kind of almost like tribal, but it's like adapt tribal, you know?
Yeah, that could actually be really nice. Like, I was really disappointed
Yeah.
when Adapt first came out because I was like, oh, it's just +1/+1 counters.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I'd kind of hoped you would like be able to like pay a cost and then say like customize your creatures, so you could like choose whether to give it like first strike or flying or something like
Right.
that. I was really hoping for something along those lines to sort of depict how Simic like to take creatures and then like basically mash parts onto them. Simic are
Right.
basically the Frankensteins of Ravnica, effectively. They are literally the mad scientists who like make crazy flesh golem things and all that good stuff. So I was really hoping to see that, but maybe like we're gonna get something that you can take counters off creatures to give them things or something. That's kind of what I'm hoping for with this.
Like it could be, you could have an instant that you remove one adapt counter from all creatures on the battlefield, and they all get haste or first strike until the end of turn.
Yeah, something like that.
Or we could be an enchant or something.
Yeah.
That could be, or an aura for a creature.
That's what I'm really hoping for, is something that plays into that. You know, we've adapted this creature, so, you know, instead of it just getting stronger, it also gets bleh.
Yeah, I would actually, I would be very interested in building a deck that had that capability where you had creatures that were kind of just average and had the adapt mechanic, but then you had other things that you could layer on top with those adapt mechanics to make them adapt, as it were, to have flying or have first strike or have haste, whatever the situation kind of mitigated
Exactly.
or needed. I think it could be really cool. That could be an interesting deck.
Yeah, I think that would be really nice.
Yeah, okay.
So,
cool.
yeah.
Aeromunculus.
Looking forward to seeing more from Simic.
Yeah.
But Devil, again,
That's some interesting
artwork.
artwork. They're on point with some of this red artwork.
Yeah.
So this is 1 red and 2 black, Bedevil, and it's an instant.
Yep.
Catch us up to speed.
So this is a rare. Again, this is a Rakdos card.
Right.
So at instant speed, you can destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker.
Whoa. Destroy Planeswalker. I already want that in a lot of my decks. Oh my god.
Yeah, because I mean, currently we've got what? Vraska's Contempt can do it, and I think Assassin's Trophy can do it. I think those are the only 2 effects that like literally will kill a planeswalker dead.
Right, because murder is destroy target creature.
Yes.
It does not specify planeswalker, so it's limited in that regard. You can anchor down, I think. No, actually. Let me think. Luminous Bonds won't work on them, I don't think.
Nope. Enchantments only, or aura cards can only be put on creatures.
Oh, Hieromancer's Cage. You could tie them down with Hieromancer's Cage, I think.
Yes.
Because that basically...
But that doesn't destroy.
Because that's non-land permanent. No, but it takes them out of the loop from being used for a little while.
At least until your enchantment gets destroyed.
Right. That's the next problem, is the enchantment. Or they just use something like Bounce or whatever to recall that card from their hand to their hand.
Whereas this will kill it dead.
Yeah, that's just boom. That artifact or creature or planeswalker, I want dead. Yeah, that's a good card. It is a little rough that it's 2 black and a red, not
two black.
Black, red, and colorless.
Yeah, the 2 black might make it a little bit difficult to cast. You're not.
But I think that's an okay. If you're doing a 2-color deck, I think that's I don't think people are going to get a planeswalker out early enough game to be a major threat. Usually if they get it out, they have to build up some loyalty counters on it before it can become a threat. And that gives you a bit of a ticking clock to get a Bedevil into your hand to take care of the problem.
Yeah.
And hopefully by that point you have at least 2 red and at least 2 black mana.
Yeah, I mean, the only planeswalker that really sees play...
See, Ranzer exclaims, "Murder Planeswalker!"
Murder Planeswalker, yeah. It is a murder card for Planeswalkers.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So I think the only Planeswalker that really sees play just now that it costs 3 mana is Sarkhan Vol.
Yeah.
And that's only really in one specific deck. At 4 mana you have Baby Vraska.
Right.
Which is slightly more troublesome, but it's not impossible to deal with.
Yeah, the initial top line loyalty effects aren't that horrible.
Yeah.
It's usually the middle or the bottom ones that are the real game changers you have to worry about.
Yeah.
And
it's only really when you get to like 5 and 6 casting cost.
So yeah, I mean, this is a rare card, but I do think this is actually still a really solid design. I do like it.
I really like it.
Even despite the 2 black, I do think that it's still. I think it's still a fair deal to accomplish.
Yeah,
you know?
I think this will see play a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that in a lot of
decks. I'd be surprised to see that in pretty much every red-black deck that is running.
Well, so here's a question. let's say I've got like a black green or a black blue deck. Do you think that dabbling for Bedevil would be a valid thing? Dipping into a third mana color just a little bit.
Maybe.
Because it only has one red. You just need the one red mana. If you have a solid black mana base and a solid other color like blue or green or white, you could just dip a little toe into red to get Bedevil. We just don't know if there's going to be other similar effects for those color combos.
Yeah, I think until we see like the whole of the set, it might happen, it might not. I mean, we're going to be getting dual lands for red and black, and
right,
black and red, green and red. So
okay, cool.
You know,
cool.
that kind of dipping to get specific, really powerful cards will become a lot easier with Ravnica Allegiance. It's just whether the cards themselves are powerful enough to warrant doing that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Bedevil.
Emergency powers.
Wow. Here's some more of this really amazing artwork.
I know, right? I can't wait to see like the full screen like artwork for some of these, because I think like that's going to be special.
It looks like almost like somebody standing in front of a control console, manipulating some kind of like a holographic kind of an interface, you know, in sci-fi movies where they've got the runes and the symbols and for stuff, and you're reaching out to touch things with your hands and it activates certain functions. That's what that artwork looks like to me, like highly scientific kind of, you know, maybe magical, I mean, scientific or magic science kind of crossover combo stuff thing. But yeah, it's really good.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that is Dovin Ban, and he's trying to contact Nicol Bolas.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because the horn shape here, that's Nicol Bolas. He's the only creature in the whole of Magic that has horns that look that way. And this guy's a Vidalkin, which is what Dovin Ban is. And we kind of already know that 3 of the guilds in this set are going to work for Bolas. And Dovin Ban's worked for Bolas before. So, like, I would say this is Dovin Ban contacting Bolas to try and get either his help or send a message or something like that. I think that's what's going on here.
Oh. Okay, Dark Preacher, in regards to Bedevil, the last card, Dark Preacher brings up a point. Sacrifice this artifact for 1 mana of any color. Treasure is a way to play Bedevil in any deck. That's true. That is true. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Chromatic Lantern as well, which makes all of your land into tap this land for any color of mana land.
Yeah.
I'm calling those rainbow lands from now on.
Rainbow lands. It sounds so cheerful.
I know, right?
So Emergency Powers is an instant, and it looks like a mythic?
It's a mythic, yeah.
Okay. So it's not going to be in every deck. Not a lot of them, at least.
No,
it is a blue, a white, and 5 colorless. Woof.
Yes.
And it's an instant, so what does it do?
So each player shuffles their hand and their graveyard into the library and then draws 7 cards, and then you exile Emergency Powers. This is also an Azorius card, so it has their Azorius guild mechanic, which is Addendum. So if you cast it during your main phase, either the first main phase or the second main phase, it doesn't matter, it just has to be during one of those 2 phases, you can put a permanent card with converted mana cost 7 or less onto the battlefield from your hand.
What? Seriously?
Yeah. So
7 or less. That's a big chunk of cards.
Yeah. So basically, what
that
would happen
pick from
if you played this with the addendum effect? You would do the shuffling and the drawing first, and then from the new hand that you've drawn, you would then be able to put a permanent card onto the battlefield.
Okay, remind me. Some of the oh gosh, there is what is it? Tempest Djinn? Is that the blue card that scales based upon the number of islands you have?
Yes.
And I think it starts as a 3/3 or something like that. And it goes.
No, it starts as a 0/4.
0/4, that's what it is. Starts as a 0/4, and its power scales based upon the number of islands you have.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. And it's not a cheap card, but it's not a super expensive card. But I mean, if you had one of those, this is a blue-white deck.
It's only
you could pop out
3 blue to cast Tempest. It's like ridiculously expensive, ridiculously cheap.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. I seem to remember being a couple of mana more expensive. That's interesting.
No, it's 3 blue.
But that means, 7 mana cost. That's like a blue. This card is converted mana cost of 7.
Yes.
So anything similar or cheaper, you could just put that card out because you can do it with 1 card.
Which currently includes, I think, every Planeswalker in the game.
Wow. Okay, that's rough.
I think there's 2 that are 8. I'm sure one of them's Nicobolus, but that was from like 4 sets ago. So
yeah.
The other one's Nicobolus's brother. So
first of all, I love cards. This is one of the reasons why I've always had a partial love for blue. I love cards that get your current your hand and your graveyard, and you shuffle them back into the library. You basically get everything and remerge it in kind of make a fresh, brand new starting match library again.
Yeah,
I've always kind of liked those effects because it meant that you could kind of infinitely push your deck. Even if you were facing somebody that had a discard deck, you could keep redoing your graveyard back into, unless they were exiling things constantly.
Yeah.
Now, this does have the limitation that you can only basically use it once. Exile emergency powers, you would need to have other copies of this to do it several times. But I do still like that limitation, that concept. I like that idea of getting all your graveyard in your hand, shuffling it back in, drawing 7 new cards, and kind of starting fresh. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I recently fought against I think it was just a green-black deck, but it ran Gaia's Blessing.
Yeah.
Which you can either cast to shuffle 3 cards from your graveyard back in your library, or if it's put into your graveyard from your library, shuffle the whole graveyard back in.
Right.
And literally it just ran like a bunch of creatures and like literally all the removal the guy could fit into the deck, it felt like. And he just kept like cycling his removal cards back through. And I'm sitting here playing things, he's just like Vraska's Contempt, cast down, Ritualist Suit. And I'd clear the board and we'd start again, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna shuffle this back into my deck. I'm like,
yeah.
And yeah, eventually he just recurred enough removal to like destroy me. So yeah, I really like those effects.
So way back when I actually still played paper Magic the Gathering, back in my day, there was a card in the Weatherlight set, that dates it already, called Paradigm Shift.
Yep.
And Paradigm Shift got your library and your graveyard and traded their positions, and then you reshuffled your new library. And it was a great card, and it was I think it was Paradigm. Paradigm, yes. Paradigm Shift.
That one.
There we go. Yes. Exile our this is different now. Exile all cards from your library, then shuffle. That was the printed.
And yeah, that's the.
So yeah, basically, you were using a mill deck, but you were milling, card drawing, and giving yourself no hand size limit. And so you were just drawing cards to get what you needed to get out on the battlefield. And when your deck got to like 1 or 2 cards left, you were holding a Paradigm Shift in your hand. You would Paradigm Shift. The last 1 or 2 cards that were left were right before you milled yourself out of the game. Those cards would just get exiled. And then your graveyard would get shuffled and turned into your new library. And you just kept doing that over and over again. So you could not be milled out of the match.
And then inevitably,
not really.
Your opponent groaned and conceded.
Yes, it was one of those things. It's like way back earlier in like I want to say it was Beta or I don't know, Homelands or somewhere way back in the early days, Ice Age. There's an old card called Scheherazade.
Oh God.
Yes, Scheherazade was this thing where and it was one of these cards where you played Scheherazade, you got your entire game and set it aside. You got your library, and you turned it into a library for a new sub-match. I can't even remember how to spell it. So you made a sub-match of Magic the Gathering with your existing library, and then whoever won that match got some kind of a token or something, that affected the match you started initially. And it was a really complicated ass card, which somebody inevitably got, and they used another card called Fork.
Yeah, did
And
it twice? Yeah.
yes, so the permanent question became, what happens when you fork Scheherazade? And it's one of those things where you only do it for the sake of irritating your opponent.
Let's see if that
And
I know the card you're talking about because it's now banned.
yeah, it's an old card from Arabian Nights. And it's one of those things. The Paradigm Shift was the same thing, where you just kept looping your decks. You kept looping your graveyard into a new library, and the only reason you did it was to irritate the absolute hell out of somebody. I could see getting emergency powers, circling it all the way back around. I could see getting emergency powers, and let's say settle the wreckage. Your opponent attacks. As they tap everything, boom, you hit settle the wreckage, and all of their stuff gets exiled, I think, or sent to the graveyard. I think it's exiled. And then you play instant emergency powers. They have to get their hand and shuffle their hand and graveyard into their library and then draw 7 cards.
Look, it's magic.
And just basically just reset the entire thing. Oh, did you find it?
Yeah.
Scheherazade. Oh my gosh. Players play a magic sub-game using their libraries as their decks. Each play, you have to put your hand down, get your library, take it over to a sub-match, leave the first one alone. And then basically, yeah, each player who doesn't win the sub-game loses half their life, rounded up. And it was brutal. So you could take somebody at a starting match with Scheherazade. If you fork to Scheherazade, it's banned in everything. If you fork to Scheherazade, you could take somebody from 20 points full starting total to 5 points.
Yeah, it's insane.
But it also took like 40 minutes, 50 minutes just to do that. Yeah. It was a harsh card, man. Karn Liberated. Restart the game, leaving in exile all non-aura permanent cards exiled with Karn Liberated. Then put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. What?
Yeah. So basically, his first ability is a +4. I'd just like to point out.
Mm-hmm.
Target player exiles a card from their hand, so they pick a card and exile it.
On purpose.
-3, he exiles a target permanent, and then for -14,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He starts on 6, so you could theoretically do this like 2 turns after you play him. Well, 3 turns, but you could get to that 14 2 turns after you play this card, because it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
You then basically restart the game. Anything that's been exiled, you then put into play under your control, and you start playing the game again.
So you reset everything for everybody else.
Yep.
This is expansion Ultimate Box Toppers?
Yeah, it's the Ultimate Masters. They have a box topper when you buy a box, and it's a full art version.
So
of
we
card.
we don't have this in
No, we don't. It first came in
MTGA.
New Phyrexia, which was ages ago.
A while ago. Yeah. I could see, I'm trying to think about, circling it back around to the whole emergency powers thing. How could you dovetail that into the current standard in MTGA? That could be really amazingly just a nasty move to do.
Yeah, I really hope Karn Liberated never comes to MTGA.
Yeah, Ranzer says game reset button. Ultimately, I could see you could do settle the wreckage, emergency powers. I think there's even something that if you did, there was a red card that was called Random Bombardment or something like this that would randomly destroy land cards that an opponent had. And that's in MTGA. I got hit with that in MTGA, and it's a nasty card.
Haphazard Bombardment.
That's what it is. Haphazard Bombardment. And if you had like Settle the Wreckage, Haphazard Bombardment, and Emergency Powers, granted, this is now a 3-color deck, but whatever. I think you could really ruin somebody's day, dude.
Yeah.
So okay, enough talking about emergency powers. Let's go to the next one.
Let's go to the next one.
Yes.
Frenzied Arnix. It's a cat beast. That's a beast of a cat.
It is. That's a big cat, and it's got horns, I think.
Yes, it does have horns.
I automatically don't want to mess with it.
And really big claws.
Yeah, it's got it's a 3/3 common, one green, one red, and two colorless mana, and it is a cat beast. Okay. And it's got abilities I already don't recognize. Please do pray tell, catch us up.
So this is the first of the Gruul cards that we've seen. That is the green red guilds. So Riot is the guild ability. When it comes into play, or sorry, when it enters the battlefield, to be more specific, you can choose to either put a +1/+1 counter on it or give it haste.
Right. That's really nice.
Yeah. I saw the Riot mechanic, and I've always planned to play one of the pre-releases as Orzhov, which is the Black-White Guild, but then I saw Riot and I was like, do I want to switch to Gruul?
So, okay. If it comes into the battlefield, this cat specifically, when I put it onto the battlefield,
Yes.
I could either make it a 4/4 with trample.
Yes. Or a 3/3
And it still has that ability at the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, I still have that ability at the bottom that I could make it a 7/4 with trample, or I could make it a 3/3 with trample and haste that I could turn into a 6/3 with trample. That's rough. That's a good card, and it's common too.
It is.
Wow. Yeah. Woo. Okay, I think we're going to see that one a lot.
I can see this being used in quite a lot of drafts.
I mean, it's a 3/3 with a pump. It's an expensive pump ability, granted, but it's a 3/3 with trample and potentially a 4/4 with trample or a 3/3 with haste.
And one of its colors,
and it only
green.
costs. Yeah, and it only costs 4 mana. That's really. Yeah, that's a good deal. I think.
That is a really.
I think that's a good card.
I think that's a phenomenal card.
I think we're going to see that card a lot.
I can see that, hitting quite a lot of boards, quite a lot of places.
Yeah. Huh, okay, cool. Frenzied Arnix. Wow, that's rough.
Growth Spiral.
Okay. It's an instant. That is 1 blue and 1 green. I already am lost again. Remind me, which guild is this?
Simic.
Yeah, I just like literally a couple of weeks ago finally got down all the color coordinated guilds in the current format, so I'm already going to be confused when this comes out.
So here, Vikram, here's another 5 guilds to learn.
Growth Spiral. Okay, it is a common instant. Do pray tell, what does it do?
So you draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Untapped.
That's super straightforward.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, and it does not say tapped. It says just put it onto the battlefield. Wow. It's common. It's cheap. I could see this being in a lot of green decks, much less green-blue decks.
Yeah, I think this is going to see quite a lot of play in
what is that quote? What's that quote say? Cyclical and spiral patterns are the specialty of the Gyre
Clade, which is one of the specific offshoots of Simic. It's like basically Simic is made up of all these different clades. It's technically the Simic Combine, but so it's got all these like different clades that specialize in different things.
Yeah, cyclical and spiral patterns are the specialty of the Gyre Clade, which seeks to revitalize the cycles of nature. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's a cool card.
Simple and straightforward. I like it. I mean, it's a green card draw. I mean, it's green blue, but it's green card draw. That's
it is literally common. Taking like the most common parts of blue and the most common parts of green and just mashed them together.
Right, that's what I was going to say. It's like that's a common blue mechanic. It's not common green, but play a land from your hand is common green.
Yeah,
that is super interesting card. Okay, sure, I like it.
I like it a lot as well, and it's a common. So.
I could see that being a lot real standard in a lot of Simic decks.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Gruul Spellbreaker.
You'll never guess which guild this comes from.
I've already forgotten. It's the same one that the Frenzied Arnix came from, right?
It's in the name.
It's what?
It's in the name.
Gruul. Oh, that's funny. Gruul Spellbreaker, ogre warrior creature. I think that is either a rare or a mythic.
That is a normal rare.
Yeah, it's one green, one red, one colorless, and it's got that riot ability again.
Yes. So for 3, you get a 3/3 that is either a 3/3 trample haste or a 4/3 a 4/4 trampler.
Wow. Okay, so it is a variant on that cat.
Basically,
It's an ogre warrior. You can bring in for okay. So 3/3 with trample and haste, or a 4/4 with trample. As long as it's your turn, you and Gruul Spellbreaker have hexproof. Wow,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a
really
rare,
like
but I
this
could
card.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see this in a lot of Gruul decks. That's really nice. I mean, hexproof is never anything to be sneezed at,
No.
especially if it gets passed on to the player. That's super nice.
Player-based hexproof is just fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, it basically
Okay.
destroys every red deck, most probably white removal spells. Like if you have this, you can't be settled because it says target player, all attacking creatures that target player controls. But you know,
Right.
so yeah,
Wow,
I
okay.
think this will see play. Plus, I mean, it's a 3/3. Well, it's a 4/4 or a 3/3 haste with trample for 3.
That quote at the bottom, she displays her scars with pride. That is interesting. Yeah, that's good. I really like that artwork again. That is an ogre warrior going hog wild.
Yeah, and I think this is supposed to be some sort of spell effect,
Yeah,
and it's just to
Spellbreaker.
show it like bouncing off.
Yeah,
Because
cool.
I think
okay.
that's is it Foundry that she's attacking based on just like all the pipes and stuff.
Yeah,
So it's interesting.
cool. Yeah, Gruul Spellbreaker. Okay,
Imperious,
more multicolor cards.
Imperious Oligarch. That's how you pronounce that word, right?
Ooh, Imperious Oligarch. Yeah, I would say that's. Yeah, okay. One black, one white.
Yep.
Creature, human cleric, and it is a
It's a
common.
2/1.
Yeah, common 2/1 with vigilance.
Yeah, and Afterlife 1. It's a really simple card, but you know, it's
Right,
basically
so
an
it's a-
upgraded Hunted Witness.
Yeah, it is a 2/1. Now wait a minute, vigilance. Remind me on vigilance.
It doesn't tap to attack.
Right. Okay, so it is a 2/1 that you can get out relatively early in a black white deck. Very early, really. Turn two or later. You get this out for some quick attacks that you can still use as blocking. If it dies to block, then you get a 1/1 token
That has flying.
that has
Can't
flying. Okay, so
understate the flying part.
you're right. You could throw this out for an early attack, follow turn block, specifically to sacrifice it to get a flying attacker later on.
Yes.
I like multi-layered tactics like that. I like it when it's got, okay, it's a 2/1, and it's a 2/1 that's got vigilance. That's good. But it's got this other kind of trailing mechanic that you could use for other purposes if you wanted to sacrifice it. I think that's a really neat idea. That's cool.
Yeah, I do like things that you can. I think that's why I like Hunted Witness so much.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's a really good card.
It's a 1-drop 1/1, but it comes back again and you get a 1/1 soldier creature token with lifelink.
Now, Hunted Witness is just white, correct?
Yes, it's one white.
One, yeah, okay. So yeah, it's a good card though. It's a solid card.
Yes.
Um,
I can see Hunted Witness also being in a deck with Imperious Oligarch.
yeah, that could be really cool combo because it's this is white black, Hunted Witness is white, and of course there's a lot of stuff in white that plays off of flying,
Yeah.
grants it or interacts with it in some way.
Yes.
Yeah, I see a lot of potential with some of this afterlife mechanic card.
Yeah, I think Afterlife's going to be really cool. Plus, you've got like
Yeah.
a Divine Visitation, which is a white enchantment that anytime a token, or is it anytime a creature token would be created, it's a 4/4 angel with flying instead.
Yes, that's right. Oh man, that would be if you had an afterlife deck with that.
Yes, I've
Okay.
I've heard a lot of people like salivating over afterlife just so because of the interaction with divine visitation.
Divine. Yeah, okay. I'm making notes for future live streams, ladies and gentlemen. I'm making notes.
I do.
Okay,
I actually do already have an Angel Factory deck, which runs divine visitation. So
yeah, we did a stream on that, I think.
I think it was used as the example as a combo deck when we did the
yes,
the deck archetypes. So yeah, it has
the
been
deck
featured.
Archetypes. Yeah. Okay, cool. Imperious Oligarch. I like it. And it's common. I really like it. Oh yeah, it's cleric too. There's a lot of really good cleric cards.
Yeah. It's also a human. So.
Yeah. Humans. I'm one of those, I think.
Lavinia, I don't know. Azorius
Renegades. If you have enough older relatives, especially if you have enough older relatives that come from the south, you have at least one great aunt called Lavinia.
Lavinia, is that how you pronounce that?
Lavinia.
Okay.
Yeah, Lavinia. Yeah, that's how I would say it based upon the fact that I've had relatives that had names spelled exactly like.
Okay. So yeah. Lavinia is then.
Yeah, Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, legendary creature.
Yep.
Human soldier.
Yes.
I think that's a rare.
That is a rare, yeah.
And it is a 2/2 for 2.
It is indeed.
Catch us up on the rest of the mechanics.
So, each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands that player controls. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell.
Okay. I'm going to come out with it, right? The first thing that comes to mind is land destruction deck. Like there were, I don't know if there are now in the current format. I'm a little behind on this. This is where you're going to have to catch me up, Mr. Trunks. But there were white cards. What was it? Swords to Plowshares? Where you...
exile target creature as opponent gains life equal to their toughness.
No, maybe that wasn't it. There was another one that was Wrath of God where you destroyed
all creatures.
Yeah, and there was an equivalent that destroyed all lands. And there have been red cards where you could destroy target land and stuff like that, you know. I can't remember. Ugh. Wow, okay. Super weird. Destroy.
Of course, it automatically searches in the name, not in the rules text.
Yeah.
It would help if I spelled destroy right as well. Search. For anyone that has not encountered Gatherer before, Gatherer is the official Wizards of the Coast card database.
There it is. That's one.
Armageddon.
Apocalypse Chime is super old. I used to have one of those. Apocalypse Chime is from Homelands, I think it is. Yes. Destroy all non-token permanents with the name originally printed in the Homelands expansion. They can't be regenerated. Super weird card. Anyway, yeah.
Armageddon. Because it's been in
and
since
I'm not,
alpha.
Yeah, it's an old card. I'm just not sure if it's in any.
Revised, 4th, 5th, 6th, starter, portal, second age, masters.
Yep. Masters.
It's not been around since portal by the looks of it.
Oh, yeah,
Masterpiece Invocation.
Okay.
I actually really want to show you guys that because those invocations were cool. For anyone that hasn't seen invocations.
Ooh. Destroy all lands.
They're like super difficult to read, but because Amonkhet was obviously an Egyptian themed expansion, the masterpieces, which were basically like super rare versions of cards that weren't legal and standard at the time, they were also like Egyptian themed.
Grimtide says, I'm happy things like that fell out. I see why Armageddon was taken out of the format. Destroy all lands. That basically pisses off everybody, unless you've got, especially if you've got now in the current format, stuff like Teferi, where you can phase things out. And then you could destroy all lands, phase everything back in, and you're the only person with some lands in play. Everybody else doesn't have. But circling back around to the original concept, I could see where that card we were looking at had that text. It says specifically, each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands that the player controls. So now, first of all, usually if you're casting something, you have a number of lands equal to, unless you're tapping into artifacts or non-land mana sources like mana elves.
Yes,
but if you're using mana elves in large quantities, you're doing it for creatures. So this doesn't really. I don't know. I'm trying to find some way to synergize with Lavinia here. Do you have ideas?
I can see it being used against something that wants to play like X casting costs, and they use things like treasures or like mana rocks to pay. For
mana artifacts or treasures, basically. Yeah. Now, I mean, Ranzer has an idea: Convoke. I actually don't think it hits Mana Elf, but I don't think it hits Convoke either, because most things that I know of that have Convoke are creatures.
Conclave Tribunal.
Is it? It's got Convoke, but that's one card, though.
Yeah, it is one card, but it's also like in every single white we need deck.
That's true. That's 100% true. What's the one saga that turns creatures into tag from mana? The white or the green one?
Son of Freyalise.
I would suspect if it's going to be a card, it's going to be one of the green sagas, yeah. But I mean, still, this is, you can't cast non-creature spells. Most of the things I can think of where you're tapping large amounts of land, it's either red, like cast X to do X amount of damage to somebody, or it is a blue card where you're having them discard X number of cards, or it's a ton of creatures from like green or black or other.
The majority of it is creatures, but I could potentially see it being actually emergency powers.
I mean, would it's
if you cast it, use the addendum thing, it would then kick the second effect of Lavinia would kick in. I don't know about the first effect. It's possible the first effect is only there for older formats.
Yeah.
Because it's like super common to like cast like 6 or 7 hour casting cost things in turn 1 for in like legacy and modern stupid formats like that.
I don't know. It's a really weird card. I can't point at it and say it's bad.
Yeah, but because it's difficult to point at it and say that's going to be really useful as well.
Exactly, because it's just muddy enough that I can't call it one way or the other. It's somewhere on the line. Yeah, Lavinia is weird. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it there.
It's a weird card. I don't know. We'll have to see how the format evolves.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So, I think next thing in line is Mortify.
Yes. I'm going to let you read this one, and I'm going to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, go ahead. Mortify is 1 black, 1 white, and colorless. It's an instant. Destroy target creature or enchantment. Straight up. Your debt is erased. That's a really good quote. I also really like that artwork. I'm seeing this as a dual color extra. I guess it's an expanded murder, because murder is destroy target creature. This is creature or enchantment, which is nice. So that expands the boundaries, but you have more black removal. This time black and white removal, which is super nice. It's funny. A lot of the enchantments that I would want to destroy, sometimes they're blue. Most of the times they're white, like imprisoning effects, like Luminous Bonds or Hieromancer's Cage or Dominate and stuff like that. I could see this really being nice for removal. Song of Freyalise, the Lavinia card, would totally screw that one up. Right, but again, Dark Preacher, I'm seeing the Lavinia's Azorius Renegade. I mean, it's an interesting card, but I'm seeing it as interesting only within the context of 1 or 2 very specific cards under very specific situations. I do not, and it's a legendary creature. You can only have 1 out on the table. I don't see why you would. It seems like a sideboard card. You're facing somebody that's got this one trick, and Lavinia is the one answer to that trick. It seems like a super unique situation that you would sideboard in for, and that's about it. for living.
Are we still talking about living?
Mortify just looks like, okay, we need a little bit more expanded removal. Murder for black isn't just good enough. We need something that will do creatures and enchantments to answer problems like, oh gosh, what is it? There's blue cards that will lock up a creature.
Capture sphere, what or not?
Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, I think Mortify could be really, really good.
Mortify is actually a reprint.
Are you back?
I am back, yeah.
You're muted?
Am I still muted? I unmuted the muted thing, though.
Muteski.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it makes sense as white-black, too, exactly. It's taking that two aspects of...
Hi, Vagram. I
There you
unmuted
are.
the wrong thing, like several times.
Now we've both done it. Yay! Grimtide says nice. It makes sense as a white-black card too. I do think Mortify is a good card where it's that same example we saw earlier, where they're getting the most common and best elements of two different colors, infusing them to a nice, simple, kind of a cheap instant card.
Yeah, Mortify's been around for quite a while.
Has it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. It's new to me. It's a good looking card.
It used to look horrible. It's been around since Guild Pact, when it looked like this.
Oh my god, what the heck is that?
It's somebody being mortified.
No, that's somebody having a really bad acid trip. Man, I can see the walls breathing, man. Dude, your skin's changing colors. Oh.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's
So,
your butt.
It's been around since like the original Ravnica
Yeah.
version. So that's back in like 2005, I want to say.
That artwork is your buddy Walter that doesn't know when to stop doing too many micros. I think Mortify looks like a really solid card. Like I said, it's an additional form of murder. Plus, it has that remove enchantment where if somebody else is using stuff, white tricks or blue tricks or whatever, like Hieromancer's Cage or Luminous Bonds or whatnot, to tie something down of yours, then you can or I mean, I guess if you're really loopy, you could lock up one of your own creatures with Hieromancer's Cage to take it out of the loop and then free it up using Mortify. But I'm not sure why you do that.
I mean, maybe if it had like a really strong enter the battlefield thing.
If it leaves Hieromancer's Cage, is it re-entering the battlefield?
Yes.
Okay, because it's like a stasis version of Exile, temporary version of Exile,
Yeah.
right? Or something like that. Okay, that's weird.
Basically,
okay, yeah, that could be cool.
Because it exiles a separate zone from the battlefield. It's effectively the exile zone. When you leaves exile, it counts as entering the battlefield again.
Ranzer says the classic Mortify looks like a discount Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Look, Ranzer, don't you pick on my Mortify.
That's harsh, man. That is super harsh.
I still have a playset of classic Mortifies from my black-white deck.
Okay. Yeah, I like Mortify. 2 thumbs up for me. It's not too expensive. Nice. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, we're almost at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Rafter Demon.
I was about to say, does that say rafter? Like as in like
in the rafters?
In a roof somewhere? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a red, a black, and 2 colorless. Creature demon, duh. It's common. And it's got spectacle.
It does.
Can you catch me up on this?
Yeah. So spectacle cost of 3 colorless, 1 black, and 1 red. So it's only costing 1 more.
Right.
When it enters the battlefield, if you paid its spectacle cost, each opponent discards a card.
What? So it's a 4/2 that also, if you pump it by 1 mana cost, by 1 colorless mana, it also makes your opponent's discard card.
Yes.
That's kind of rude. I like that. I could see that getting annoying really quick, especially since they're commons and you could put 4 of those things in your deck easy.
Yeah, really easily.
And, I mean, you're playing with black as one of the 2 colors. That means you could be pulling this thing back from the graveyard handily. So, yeah, I could see get really annoying people. What is the term? Card advantage, I think it is? Or hand advantage, something like that?
Card advantage, yeah.
Yeah, where you've got cards in your hand and you're trying to remove cards from the opponent's hand so that you have more tricks up your sleeve to play at any given moment than they do.
Yes.
And I That's always a good mechanic, I think, in any kind of card game, much less Magic the Gathering. So, but usually that's the kind of thing you see on blue, maybe black with some discard mechanics. But this is no downsides. It's not like I have to sacrifice a card to make them sacrifice a card. It's just straight up, you pay 1 extra mana. Hey, you can make them discard.
Yeah.
So
effectively, I mean, it being a 4/2 as well, so
yeah,
it has its downsides. I mean, 2 mana is effectively two toughness is effectively shock range. So
yes, it can get removed pretty easily, unfortunately.
You know, you could effectively spend 5 mana to be countered by a 1 mana red spell, but
right, it is a demon that has no flying, so you're not getting over the standard. You know, it's not like you can keep using this as a flyer on the battlefield. It can get blocked by a lot of like 2/1 weenies and get killed.
It's true.
Yeah, 2/1s, 2/2s. It'll still take this thing out. It'll do 4 damage along the way, but you know,
our good friend Pierce Oligarch could kill this Rafter Demon and bring back up.
Yeah, a 1/1 flyer. Yeah, that's true. So I do see downsides in the Rafter Demon, but it is a common, so it's not going to be too terribly fancy.
No, true. There is a certain power level of
Now, here's where I think Rafter Demon could be super fun. Commander. Or multiplayer.
Yes.
Just multi-person. Because it says each opponent, which means that you put this on the battlefield, all the other people in the match all have to discard a card, and everybody's going to groan and look at you like, really, dude? And then you're going to play one a couple of turns later, and they're going to hate you again. I could see this being kind of fun in like a commander match or something like that.
I like that the Wizards have changed the language on their cards since they like formalized commander. So now it's like each opponent instead of your opponent.
Yeah, you notice that a lot more now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, I would just like to point out
Firewheeler.
Just like to point out the artwork of this.
What is going on?
He's throwing wheels of fire at you.
Wow. That's some nice looking artwork. I'm already seeing some red flags on the mana cost.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a
I think we'll
Rakdos
see
Firewheeler.
something like this for every guild, though, because if you look at the current guilds, all of them have a 2/2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like Boros has True Fire Captain, Demure has Nightveil Predator.
Okay.
The other guilds have things that I can't remember the name of because I haven't seen them recently, so they probably don't actually get played, but I'm sure they're there.
Naturally, we think they're there. I don't know. So 2 black and 2 red. It is a creature, human rogue. It is an uncommon, I think.
Yep.
When Rakdos Firewheeler enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target opponent and 2 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker.
Yes.
Okay, so planeswalker, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think the split on this is really interesting because normally what you would see is 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. So I like the reversal on that split.
So this could be the player and the planeswalker.
Yeah, theoretically it could be.
That's an interesting idea. Also, let's not discount the fact that it's a 4/3, which is not exactly a chump.
Yeah, 4/3 that is nothing to sneeze at either.
It's lightning strike, but that's still, you know, it's not going to be taken out by any random one-shot lightning bolt or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, shock, I guess it is now, right?
Shock
is one.
Lightning bolts.
Yeah, shock. Yeah. That's lightning strike now, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to keep up. Ever wonder why you never see an old Rakdos cultist? That's a great quote.
Some of the quotes on these cards are phenomenal. Like the Carnage Tyrant quote is one of my favorites still.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, I think the mana cost is a little rough on it, but I do like it. 2 thumbs up, you know, otherwise.
I think you're
Simic?
only seeing it in terms of what lands we have available just now.
Right.
Because once this set hits, we'll have like all the guild gates for these colors and the shock lands for these colors.
True.
Yeah, it's shock lands. So we will have like 4 different ways to generate these colors. We'll have the lockets as well.
Yeah.
If we really needed it. So I don't think the 2 and 2 is going to be too difficult to hit.
Yeah. So I mean, it's turn 4, but it's not too rough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this is
okay.
Simic Ascendancy.
Yeah, 1 blue, 1 green enchantment. Is that a?
That's a rare, yeah.
Okay, rare. Okay, read us up on the text, please.
So it has an activate ability for 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 colorless. You put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature that you control, you put that many growth counters on Simic Ascendancy. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if Simic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game.
What?
Yes.
It's a straight up win mechanic.
Yes.
I mean, it's a buffing mechanic that becomes a win mechanic.
Yes.
That's weird.
I saw this card and I immediately thought, I could put this in my Merfolk deck. Like, if you have like 10 Merfolk and Kumena out, you can literally win the game in 1 turn.
Okay, so with this, we cast it for 2 mana.
Yep.
1 blue, 1 green. We put it on the battlefield and kind of forget about it. And if we're looking at it from the concept of the Merfolk deck, right? Even if it's the pre-gen one. This has a pump mechanic to put counters onto it, but you don't have to use it for this win condition to take effect.
No, it is any +1/+1, including adapt.
Right. Yeah. So it says whenever, and that's a good point. Adapt also. So whenever you put when you ever put 1 or more +1 counters on a creature you control, you put that many onto Simic Ascendancy, which, like you're talking about. If we're going to be doing those decks that have adapt, and you put a token on something, you put a token on Simic Ascendancy, you spend the token off of the creature, and then renew its adapt, you're putting that token back on Simic Ascendancy again.
Yeah.
Or if we do the pre-gen Merfolk deck with this, there's all those instances where a Merfolk comes in, and it puts target counter on itself and something else, or on 2 other creatures.
Yep.
And you would put that many counters on. That's wild.
Yeah, it's really
I could
nice.
see winning a match real quick if you set up a deck right.
Yep.
Okay.
One thing I want to check is whether Riot. Yeah, Riot is a +1/+1 counter as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
It's a bit of a stretch, but maybe like a 3-color deck, like red, blue, green. Focus on like Riot creatures and Simic Ascendancy.
Yeah. You could do Simic Ascendancy, Riot, and Adapt.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nasty.
Just so you can use the Adapt mechanic to potentially have, because we think that you're going to be able to spend those tokens to do things.
It's what we've been told, yeah.
Right, which means that if that's the case, then there is a possibility that the Adapt mechanic could be a good, not necessarily an ace up your sleeve, but it could be a good like multi-tool function. Like a kind of a form of a Swiss Army knife kind of a function. Yeah. And if that's the case, I think even having a smattering of those in a deck could be really good.
Yeah, theoretically.
But yeah, you're right. You could do a red, green, blue deck and use your Simic Ascendancy as a potential win condition. That could be really interesting. The only downside I see is if somebody decides to remove target enchantment with a card like Destroy Target Enchantment, like Mortify, just to line up, then it and all of its counters go away.
Yes,
but
that is the only downside.
Yeah, you're still generating a lot of other stuff with counters, so maybe you have other tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I like Simic Ascendancy.
I think it's an interesting card, at least.
Yeah, it's very interesting, I think. For a potential way to think about winning the game in a different method, I think it's really cool.
Yes. Which, again, fits into the whole Simic, do things differently, experiment.
It sounds like a certain Ranzer is bitter about Merfolk decks. He says, like, the Merfolk need any more +1/+1 counters or other win conditions.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ranzer. Would you like some fries with that salt?
Simple solution for Simic Ascendancy. Only costs 1 white mana. Demystify. What's Demystify do?
Destroy target enchantment.
There you go. Yeah.
Or maybe artifact or enchantment, actually.
Yeah, or Mortify. One, a couple lines
Mortify,
up. There's a lot of options to get rid of it, but if somebody's not prepared or not paying attention, Simic Ascendancy could shorten the match real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I like it.
Almost there.
Almost.
4 cards left to look at. Sphinx's Insight. So this is another Azorius card.
Right. It's an
Hi,
instant
Sharpie.
common red Sharpie. It is 1 blue, 1 white, and 2 colorless. Instant common.
Yep. It says draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
And it has addendum. If you cast this spell during your main phase, you also gain 2 life.
Oh. That's just straight up a good card.
That's a really good card, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's an instant, but if you time it right, you also get 2 life in addition to drawing 2 cards.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's very similar to Chemist's Insight, but instead of having Jumpstart, it has addendum for extra life.
Yeah. Now, Chemist's Insight is just a blue card, right?
Yeah, blue card, 3
But it's
colorless and 1 blue, I think.
Yeah, but
And
it's
draw 2
kind
cards.
of it's kind of an is it blue?
Yeah, because it has Jumpstart on it.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting. There are certain cards that are white for like Boros.
Yeah, you can tell those cards because they have the guild watermark behind
The logo.
text.
Yeah, there's also some blue cards that are is it that you could still factor into like this deck.
Yes.
A deck using this card. It's very interesting. It's weird how you could, even sticking to the guild aligned colors, you could still end up with multiple kind of guild influences in one deck.
Yeah, I agree.
I
really like that.
I think that's neat.
But I turned all of those off. Why are you still doing them?
This is why I'm still using the standalone bot.
Yeah, I might have to swap over to that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Dang bot. Also,
Okay, Sphinx is inside.
The quote on this: "Do not think me blind to your true mission or your true master, Grand Arbiter."
Ooh, okay.
There's another throwback to the Azorius working for Nicobolus. At least I'm assuming that, because the Grand Arbiter is the leader of the Azorius Guild, and he's definitely not working for the founder of Azorius, because he's still on Ixalan.
Okay.
So this is a Zagana Utopian Speaker. This is a version of a card that was in Return to Ravnica.
Right.
I think it was Zagana Speaker of something was the original version.
Blue, a green, and 2 colorless for a legendary creature Merfolk wizard that looks like it's
Look, Ranzer, it's a Merfolk.
Is it uncommon or rare?
It's a rare.
Or Merfolk. Okay. Catch us up on the text.
So when Zagana enters the battlefield, if you control another creature with a +1/+1 counter on it, you draw a card. I'll come back to the adapt in a second because we've already kind of looked at it. But she also gives each creature that you control with a +1/+1 counter on it trample.
Oh, that's rough.
And she has adapt 4 for 4 colorless, 1 green, and 1 blue. So you can basically play her on turn 2, and then 2 turns after her make her an 8/8 with trample.
Holy crap on a cracker.
And if you put her in a Merfolk deck that has lots of +1/+1 counter things on it, they would all get trampled.
Now this circles back around to that Simic Ascendancy card that we saw a little bit ago.
Yes.
With all of the +1/+1 counters getting tossed around. This has adapt 4, and it's giving trample to anything with a counter on it.
Yeah.
If you have anything else with adapt, or any Merfolk that are just passing out counters like candy, suddenly everything in the deck, everything on the battlefield has trample.
Yes.
Basically. Isn't there a blue card that says any creatures you control with counters on them are unblockable?
Yes, it's also a merfolk.
Oh, God, that's rough. That is rough, man. Okay, merfolk are getting more dangerous with Ravnica Allegiance. Woo. Okay, I like this card. I think it's really...
I do. I think it's cool.
It looks straight up dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am also even more curious about the adapt mechanic and what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Merfolk with trample, ew.
I'm liking adapt a lot more since we've seen some of these other cards for it. But yeah, I didn't like it when it was first announced, but I'm kind of warming up to it.
Yeah. Ranzer says, I say again, Merfolk are the new slivers. Yeah. Grimtide says Merfolk are getting a boost. 100%. Looks like it. Simic's going to look really powerful in this. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm really curious.
It's only going to be for like 8 months.
Only 8 months. It's no big deal.
Yes, it's no
Yeah.
Dark Preacher says, I want World Enchants back. We still have World Enchants. They're just called enchantments now.
Yeah, he mentioned something about no more Tombstone Stairwell. I don't get the references on World Enchantments and what that is. Tombstone Stairwell. Okay. Wow, that is some rough artwork.
That's from Mirage.
Cumulative upkeep. It's 2 black and 2 colorless mana cost. World enchantment. And it says cumulative upkeep, 1 black, 1 colorless. At the beginning, you must pay your butt out of. Okay. At the beginning of each upkeep, if Tombstone Stairwell is on the battlefield, each player creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token with haste named Tomb Spawn for each creature card in their graveyard. At the beginning of each end step, or when Tombstone Stairwell leaves the battlefield, destroy all tokens created. They can't be regenerated. Holy butts. So it just generates more and more tokens each upkeep.
Yeah.
For all players. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm that just seems like a really heavy duty enchantment. I don't see why it's called a world enchantment.
I don't really.
It was a mean card. You're not kidding, man.
It's
Okay,
legal, so
weird.
It's not that
Anyway.
mean. It's not that mean. I don't know.
I mean, if you're playing, most decks are going to have at least a few creatures in them, if not a lot, depending. The more, unless it's a token deck and you haven't gotten any of your token generators killed and removed and put in the grave, you're going to have at least a moderate, if not an insane amount of tokens being generated. Because every upkeep, it's generating it for both players.
Yeah.
So on my upkeep, we both get tokens. And then on your upkeep, we both get tokens.
Yeah, effectively.
Which is just nuts. And they all have haste. Anyway, okay, let's go back to the card list. That's bonkers. Zergana Utopian Speaker is good. 2 thumbs up. What the heck is this?
Can I rotate my screen somehow?
No, incubation and incongruity.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm tilting my head. My microphone's on the wrong side for me to...
I'm just... I wonder if I can find a better version of it. Come on, Google. Does this actually have a proper picture that's there? Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Okay. So, incubation is a 1 mana, either blue or green. I love those cards.
Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Not bad. Top 5 cards. That's a pretty good selection. So you're getting something. You're looking for some creature card to put into your hand. The rest of them get shuffled into the bottom of your library, which is nice. It's not just getting tossed to the graveyard, because a lot of grab the top 3 or top 5 of your deck gets tossed in the graveyard. This way, it's still cycling back into the library. So that's a good card. It seems really good.
The other side, however...
Incongruity. 1 blue, 1 green, and one colorless. It's an instant. Exile target creature. That creature's controller creates a 3/3 green frog lizard creature token.
Yes.
That's weird. That's a little weird. Okay.
But it's blue-green removal.
It is. I mean, you're exiling the creature from the match and then creating a 3/3 token to replace it. Which is pointless if you're exiling a 1/1 or a 2/2 that's got some dangerous effect, but it's great. I guess you're getting the dangerous effect off the battlefield, but you're getting them a beefier creature. But if you're doing like, is it Carnage Tyrant, the one that's hexproof? That's something else, right?
Carnage Tyrant's the one that's hexproof.
Okay, so it's not that one. One of those big lizards from green or green-red. Big dinosaurs or something like that.
I mean, you've got like Gigantosaurus as a 10/10,
yeah.
as a 12/12.
Yeah, Gigantosaurus is a great example. Somebody thumping out one of those 10/10s. Incongruity would be very handy to dumb it down to a 3/3 without trample.
Yeah.
To be sure. So, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Yeah. It's a weird card. You always have the option of just using incubation if you don't want incongruity, but it is green removal, which is weird.
Yeah. I also like the fact that it's a frog lizard.
Specifically a frog lizard.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm just, I'm just spitting it out how I see it. Incubation artwork, right? It really looks like they've got like a Power Ranger inside of a stasis pod or something.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not far wrong. It's probably a merfolk of some sort.
I don't know. It just looks, I'm seeing the shoulder.
Those like things in his arms look like fins.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the pointed shoulders and the shape of the helmet. It looks kind of like a Power Ranger to me.
Yeah.
Or something from Warframe,
Possible,
yeah. You could also self-target for a big early blocker. That is 100% true. You could get a 1/1 crap creature, and then, not too early because you're going to need 3 mana. It's going to be turn 3, I guess, at least. Unless you have if you have other things like mana elves that you're putting out for mana ramp. But you could do incongruity. You've just got a 1/1, and you exile your own creature and turn it into a 3/3. That is true. 100%. You could do that.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that is Incubation Incongruity. I think we have one card left. An artifact.
The Gate Colossus.
Okay. Wow. Gate Colossus. 8 mana. Woo! Artifact creature construct. And it is a uncommon?
Uncommon, yeah.
Yeah, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each gate you control. Uh-oh. Is the gate deck going to come back into existence?
I think the gate deck is looking a lot better now. Especially since we'll have 5 new gates to play as well.
And then we're going to have Gate Gargoyle and then Gate Colossus and then Lord knows what else.
Whatever the card is that it's a equipment card that gives +1/+1 for each gate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It looks like we're going to have to make a gate deck.
We just can't help it.
It's an 8/8 for 8, which is rough. That's a mean gritter.
However, it can't
read the rest of that text for us.
Gate Colossus can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. And,
ouch.
Whenever a gate enters the battlefield under your control, you may put Gate Colossus from your graveyard on top of your library.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was
so
just letting
it cycles back onto the library.
Yeah.
Okay, that's mean. If you can actually back this thing up with mana to cast it, it's got a power level specific version of Menace, basically.
Yes.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Where they have to have a power 3 or higher to be able to block it.
Yeah, so no more jumping this with 1/1 sapling tokens.
Mm-hmm. Now that does bring up the question to me, what if I have 8 1/1s? They still all can't block it, right?
Yes, they still can't block it.
See, that's mean. So it doesn't matter how many 1/1s or 2/2s you have sitting around, they cannot block this in any form or fashion.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, that's really good. That is amazingly good. And then if it gets let me rephrase that. When it gets removed from the battlefield by some nefarious mean, the next time you put a gate card down,
Yep, you can.
That comes from
shove it
your
on top of
graveyard back to your. Yeah, it goes from your graveyard on top of your library. Next turn, you draw it, you recast it, and people hate you again.
Theoretically, if you have multiples of these, then you could put them all on top of your graveyard. All on top of your library from your graveyard.
Oh, that's rough.
And then if you've got like 8 gates in play, you could then just like play them for free.
This spell costs 1 less for each gate you control. If we made a gate deck, I think first of all we're gonna have land that would all be tapped when we put it out.
Yeah,
I think, that was one of the reasons why I didn't make a gate deck initially. But if you can get past that hurdle, if you can deal with that time-gated land, then if you had just tons of gates and maybe some other things to fill out the numbers, but mostly gate cards, this could basically get cycled through for free.
yeah.
You have, what is it, in Arcane Encyclopedia, which lets you do extra card draw from mana.
Yep.
You could toss in Karn for a Planeswalker that has some artifact-centric abilities.
And just says, time-gated lands.
Time-gated, yes, I know. Pun was punny. It was unintentional, but I'll take it. So, hey. They're literally the only hurdle I see in a gate deck. The only hurdle is every mana you put out, every land source you put out, is going to be tapped the first turn.
Yes.
If you're doing just gates, and that's rough.
Yeah, because you're always going to be a turn behind on the old curve.
Yeah, but if you can get past that, maybe not make all your land gates, make about half of it gates and half of it dual color lands, or something like that.
Yeah, could potentially look at something like that. Anything that causes lands to come into play untapped, regardless of what they say. Can't think of anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, there might be something green. There's a lot of green cards. And that is something you could do. You could throw some green into the deck. If you're doing a lot of artifact, you could throw some green and blue in there for card draw and land play, because there's a lot of cards in green that let you play an extra land from your hand or go search for land and put it into play.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So you could try and get land onto the table quicker since you're having to put it out tapped, and that might be the solution. It would still have to ramp up a little bit, so if you were going up against like a weenie deck, you might be doomed. But I think there's a gate deck in our future. I really do.
I think it's definitely something to look at.
Yeah.
Because there's Guild Summit as well, which lets you draw cards when you play gates.
Ooh, okay. So okay. So if you had 4 of these gate Colossi, let's go with Colossi. Yeah, in your deck, and let's say all of them had been evacuated from the battlefield and into the graveyard because they all been killed, destroyed, whatever. If you had Gate Summit out, you could play a gate card from your hand that you might have already had.
Yes.
Which would trigger all 4.
Triggers so that Gate Colossus resolves first.
Right. So Gate Colossus would trigger, and all 4 Colossi would come from the graveyard to the top of your
library, and then you would draw a
card, grab a Colossi. If you have enough gates, you just put it on the battlefield for free.
Yep.
Or cheap. And then, oh man, that's rough. Ooh. Yeah, it's got to be a way. Got to be a way. And you go to Gatherer and look up Gate Gargoyle. I can't remember what the numbers on that were. It was like it gets +1/+1 for every gate and play or something like that.
I think that's it, yeah.
Goily.
Enters battlefield with +1 counter for each gate you control. Yeah.
Right. Each night it visits a different guild gate around the city, digging its talons into fresh stuff. That could get rough quick. if you had a guild gate, if you had for each gate. Bum-ba-dum.
Oh,
okay, Gatekeeper Garbo. Wait a minute.
Hang on.
Rules.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Text.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Search.
And each. Yeah. That's not how and works, Gatherer.
Okay.
Okay, so
Go down a little bit. Yeah, there's Glaive of the Guild Pact.
that's the one I'm thinking of. +1/+1, 0 for each gate you control.
And has vigilance and menace. Oh man, a creature with menace can be blocked except for two. Woo, that's rough. Okay, Guild Summit. Yeah, when Guild Summit enters the battlefield, you may tap any number of untapped guild gates you control. Draw a card for each gate you tap this way. And then whenever a gate enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Whoa.
It's unfortunate that this is from the old Ravnica set.
Hold the gates. Creature you control gain +1/+0. And +0/+1 for each gate you control and have vigilance. I wonder if that's going to get like... What do you think the odds of a reprint are? Or do you think the whole set's going to be unique?
I mean, it's already reprinted Mortify.
That's a good point. So we could see Hold the Gates again. They could bring that back.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just a flat enchantment. Okay, I think there's going to be a Gates deck in our future. It's got to be a Gates deck.
I definitely think we have to look at it at least.
Okay. Add one to the silly deck ideas list.
We do have a lot of those.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's been a real fun review. Wow, that's 2 hours on the dot, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's well timed.
All that goofing off and a bathroom trip in the middle, and we still nailed it.
I know, right?
That's amazing.
Just that good at this whole stream thing.
Okay. I cannot wait. So the big question is going to be when Ravnica Allegiance drops, very first stream, pack opening stream?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Because I'm currently saving up gold.
Okay. A man after my own heart. So we're going to stockpile and then maybe see.
Because it comes out on the 17th in an arena. So that gives us 2 weeks and 4 days. No,
about 2.5
2 weeks and 6 days.
Oh, okay. Weekends. So almost 3 weeks.
Yeah, almost 3 weeks.
Okay, cool.
You get what? 7 times 5 is what? 25? 30?
Yep. We could get a lot of gold, enough to get some pretty hefty packs.
Yeah, we're talking like 2,000-3,000 gold a week.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna try and see. Maybe we can pull it off and get some packs opened.
Yeah, definitely.
And go through some of the new cards and see what we get.
The 17th is a Thursday, so we have. So the day after it hits.
It'll be a Friday.
We will be
just in time for Hit the Deck.
I know, right? How good is
it's
that? It's
almost like they planned it.
Although this does raise the question of whether Trunks wants to go to his local gaming store on a Friday and do a pre-release event.
Take a camera and live stream it? Question mark?
I don't have a camera to do that, but I don't think they would object.
Do you have a phone?
I do have a phone, yeah.
You have a camera? Goofball.
Yeah, but like a 6-hour stream from my phone, that's going to destroy my battery.
Dude, that's just like one external battery that you can get on Amazon for $15. But that's neither here nor there. The big question would be, would you go or would you like to? I don't even know what time. If it's 2 o'clock here, it is 6 o'clock your time. No, 8 o'clock.
8, yeah.
Okay. Aren't the evening drafts on the day of release Thursday night?
No, the pre-release
midnight drafts.
We do the local gaming store does a midnight one on the Friday, so it's technically Saturday. So it's still on the previous
So that would actually be
weekends.
after our stream.
Yeah,
That'd be
so I
after
could,
our
I could
stream.
in theory do both.
Yeah, okay, cool. We'll see. We do also have for the potentials for next week. I think Crip's Treasure Draft is going to be running. Criparian's Treasure Draft. I can't remember.
It's on just now.
There it is. Yeah, it just started today.
Yeah.
I believe.
When does it?
Oh, wait a minute. January 4th is Guilds of Ravnica draft. And then Holiday Popper also. Wait a minute. Scroll back up to the top of the page. Featured event 12/28 to 12/30. So it's only this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, weird. Never mind.
Yeah.
It looks interesting because you get a treasure token each turn.
Yeah, I know. I also like how they've made it Ravnica, not Ixalan, so that you can't use Revel Riches and win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So it is Ravnica only format, but it's a draft. I think it's cool. It could be really fun, but it's only this weekend, which is a bummer. Oh well.
Guilds of Ravnica draft, Ixalan block draft starts on January 4th.
Yeah, it could be fun. Ixalan's pretty awesome. So we got options for next week, to be sure.
That's interesting.
To be sure.
Why am I going to Bucharest tomorrow? Streamlabs OBS has a mobile app. Yes, and you can stream from it. Time and date, because my other half lives in Bucharest, so I have my date and time set so that it shows in both UK time and Bucharest time. I should probably add one for Texas time, considering how often I have to use it, but I haven't quite done it yet.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, you wanna wrap us up and take us out?
Yes, let's wrap up. So thank you everyone very much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed our analysis of what's been released so far for the old Ravnica Allegiance. It might be worth doing another episode of this like the week before it actually hits, when hopefully the whole set will have been revealed.
Definitely. Question mark?
Although we will probably just have to like skip through the cards and maybe not analyze them in quite so much depth, given that there's like 169 cards in the set or something silly like that.
Or something like that, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where if we do a stream before the release and we're going to have the whole sets, then a pack opening, we could kind of divvy it up a little bit. We could pull out like the mythics and the rares and look at those before, and then just kind of skim.
Yeah. Maybe
when we're doing pack opening,
we'll have a look at it on like the early Friday and see if there's any cards we really want to talk about.
Yeah, that could be good.
Do it that way.
Pull out some choice picks.
Yeah, something like that might be interesting. Otherwise, we will be back here this same time next week, 2 p.m. Texas time or 8 p.m. normal person time.
I'll be here unless Uber's collapses and falls over again. Swear.
Again, it's not like it's the fourth time that it's done that since we've started doing these
totally innovative. Totally know that.
I think we'll probably do some ranking. I've finally hit gold. Yay. So we might just do some ranked. Yeah, I hit gold.
Cool. Well, we could do that.
Although, it's only like 2 up from bronze.
Hey, it's progress. Progress is progress, man.
I know. I actually know quite a few people that have hit mythic. So,
wow.
I know that like Nox is mythic for. Is he mythic for limited now? He's either diamond or mythic, one of the two. But I know a few people that have hit mythic, and quite a few people are in diamond. So yeah, we could do some ranked. We could abuse my vast collection of cards and wild cards. I have a deck idea.
You have a deck idea? I have a deck idea.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a card. I think it was an artifact that turned everything into, like, you declared a kind of a creature, and then any other creature that came onto the battlefield was that creature and whatever you declared. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah. This card.
Okay. What if we had Arcane Adaption in the grab deck where we were taking things from people using hijack and stuff like that. Maybe we didn't have as many of those mechanics, but we could do like goblins, and we've got all those goblin mechanics of, sacrifice a goblin and give something haste, or what is it, Siege Gang Master or something like that?
Yeah.
Where you can sacrifice goblins.
Damage.
Yeah, but everything's goblin. So everything, even if you steal something, you can sack it to one of the goblin-only mechanics. But we could do it for multiple creature types if we wanted to, or a better creature type.
Yeah,
we could make everything. We could make everything dinosaurs and steal stuff, but everything's a dinosaur and it all plays off each other. Just find something like that, like Merfolk or whatever. I think it could be interesting to where you're taking things from people, and then you're turning it into something else using arcane adaptation.
Yeah,
it was just
I was thinking of adding that to the Angel Factory.
Yeah,
to turn everything into saplings, so that it then like plays off the Tender Shoot Dryads and
that could be really interesting.
Things.
I thought that would be really interesting, and you could do something like that. Other option is to try and come up with the other idea that I've had is trying to come up with the absolute worst idea possible for how could we abuse Helm of the Host. But I mean, Tender Shoot Dryad is top of the pick on that for me, so I don't know. Passing note.
You mean like this?
Helm of the Host. Is that what this is? Is this a Saprolings and wait a minute, Saprolings and quasi duplicate? Oh my god, Ugg Saprolings. Oh, UG blue-green Sapling.
Yeah.
Create a token that's a copy target. Oh my god, I think we need to.
Also have
I think we need to mess with this deck and fine tune it. Yeah. Have you aired this deck yet?
Yeah, I played with it on stream one day.
That's one of the ones I missed. Holy crap. Yeah, this looks evil.
I 100% stole this from Merchant, but we can tweak it. The other,
I don't know. We got other ideas.
The other thing we could do is abuse this dude.
Other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. Wow, that seems rough.
So you put like Helm of the Host on Arvads.
Uh-huh.
And then every time
wait a minute,
you buff all of your legendary creatures with +2/+2.
And a new copy of Arvad gets made every time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the copy isn't legendary anymore, but it still buffs all of your other legendary creatures.
Nice.
Including Arvad Prime.
Yeah. Okay. I've got ideas. Yeah, that's nuts.
We may come up with some ideas off stream and experiment with them next week.
Yeah, Ranzer says I've only managed to get Helm of the Host on the Dryad once. It was epic.
Oh yeah, I forgot Ranzer actually used the he stole the deck. I say stole.
Good.
It, yeah,
that's the whole point.
I stole it from
point of
Merchant,
hit the deck. Yeah. Yes, we steal it so you can then borrow it.
I don't have Chaos and Mayhem 2.0 anymore.
I've got it. That's fine. we can always re-import it or something, or just regenerate it. Whatever.
I actually got rid of a lot of the decks now. I've been playing mostly meta decks now. Like this is my current ranking deck.
Cool.
It's evil.
Golgari mid. Ooh, yeah, that looks rough. Okay.
I gave this to another streamer and he proceeded to do better with it than I have, so I'm very upset.
Quit it! Stop!
It's like I gave it to him and 2 days later he's like 4 ranks higher than me, and I was like, dude, really?
Okay. Well, I guess we will see everybody on the next episode of Hit the Deck next Friday.
Indeed. Next Friday. Yeah.
Woo! Okay.
And
bye, people.
Are you back to normal stream schedule for next week, or?
Yeah, I don't get pinned down by my relatives on New Year's Eve. They go do their own crap, so I can actually resume my life on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Yay.
They all go off and drink things and party and generally get hungover the next day and whatever. And I'm that's not my bag. So yeah,
that's fair.
I will most definitely be live streaming on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Awesome. So
yep.
We will be back on Monday at 2 p.m. Texas time / 8 p.m. UK time. Come join us then.
Can't remember what I'm doing on Monday after. Oh God, I gotta go look at my own damn schedule. We'll figure it out. I don't know. Stay tuned. Go Twitter things and stuff. You know how it works. I
know that part of Monday is Ultimate Alchemy.
Oh yes, Monday is the break room. Two in the afternoon. Monday evening is Ultimate Alchemy. Both of those will be on Monday. That is December. That is New Year's Eve. I'm definitely doing. I have way too much stuff to not talk about it. We have to have a break room for Monday. So that's going to be a thing. And then Ultimate Alchemy, I think we're still doing overhauls, but hopefully we will have a lot of that done by Monday evening, and we can actually go back to progressing on crap.
Yay!
And then Tuesday it is double question marks and double question marks. I'm such an idiot.
Yeah.
I really am.
I
know that Tuesday nights. Yeah, Tuesday nights and Thursday nights are Fallout my time. Afternoon, I can't remember what I did last week. I'll have to go check. I've slept since then, so it's been totally wiped from my brain.
Did you not take last week?
This past Tuesday I did not because it was Christmas Day. But the week before, I did something on Tuesday afternoon. I just can't remember what.
Orwell. Not Orwell.
Oh, right. No,
something.
Yeah. The game, the kids
Oxenfree?
going to the island. Oxenfree. That's what it was. I need to finish that off. That game's super weird. I really like it though. See, we get there in the end.
Eventually, yeah.
I don't know. I don't have all my marbles with me all the time, but I know where to find them.
What are marbles?
Yes, exactly. Okay, I guess we will see you folks on Monday then.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Have a wonderful weekend.